What's up, guys, and welcome back to my reading journey. Hope we're all doing absolutely fine. And today, as usual, we're gonna continue with an essay by Seneca on the shortness of life. It's gonna be the 12th part of it, so let's get started. Perhaps you ask whom I would call the engrossed. There's no reason for you to suppose it. I mean only those whom the dogs that have at length been let in drive out from the law court, those whom you see either gloriously crushed in their own crowd of followers or scornfully in someone else's, those whom social duties call forth from their own homes to bump them against someone else's doors, or whom the predator's hammer keeps busy in seeking gain that is this disreputable and that will one day faster. Even the leisure of some men is engrossed in their villa or on their couch, in the midst of solitude, although they have withdrawn from all others, they are themselves the source of their own worry. We should say that these are living not in leisure, but in busy idleness. Would you say that man is at leisure who arranges with finical care his Corinthian bronzes, that the mania of a few makes costly, and spends the greater part of each day upon rusty bits of copper, who sits in a public resting place for 2 hours we labor with voices that are not even Roman, watching the wrangling of lads, who sorts out the herds of his pack mules into pairs of the same age and color, who feeds all the newest athletes. Tell me, would you say that those men are at leisure who pass as many hours at the barber's while they are being stripped or whatever grew out the night before, while a solemn debate is held over each separate hair, while either disarranged locks are restored to their place or thinning ones drawn from this side and that toward the forehead? How angry they get if the barber has been a bit too careless, just as if he were sharing a real man. How they flare up if any of their mane is lopped off, if any of it lies out in order, if it does not all fall into its proper ringlets. Who of these would not rather have the state disordered than his hair? Who is not more concerned to have his head trim rather than safe? Who would not rather be well barbered than upright? Would you say that these are at leisure who are occupied with the comb and the mirror? And what of those who are engaged in composing, hearing, and learning songs, while they twist the voice, whose best and simplest movement nature designed to be straightforward, into the meanderings of some indolent tune, who are always snap their fingers as they beat time to some song that they have in their head, who are overheard humming a tune when they have been summoned to serious, often even melancholy matters. These have not leisure, but idle occupation. At their banquets, heaven knows, I now reckon among their unoccupied hours, since I see how anxiously they set out their silver plate, how diligently they tie up the tunics of their pretty slave boys, how breathlessly they watch to see in what style the wild boar issues from the hands of the cook, with what speed at a given signal smooth-faced boys hurry to perform their duties, with what skill the birds are carved into portions, all according to rule, how carefully unhappy little lads wipe up the spittle of drunkards. By such means they seek the reputation of being fastidious and elegant, and to such an extent do their evils follow them into all the privacies of life that they can neither eat nor drink without ostentation. And I would not count these among the leisured class either, the men who have themselves borne hither and thither in a sedan chair and a litter, and are punctual at the hours for their rites as if it were unlawful to omit them, who are reminded by someone else when they must bathe, when they must swim, when they must dine. So enfeebled are they by the excessive lassitude of a pampered mind that they cannot find out by themselves whether they are hungry. I hear that one of these pampered people, provided that you can call it pampering, to unlearn the habits of human life, when he had been lifted by hands from the bath and placed in his satin chair, said questioningly, "Am I now seated?" Do you think that this man, who does not know whether he is sitting, knows whether he is alive, whether he sees, whether he is at leisure? I find it hard to say whether I pity him more if he really did not know, or if he pretended not to know this. They really are subject to forgetfulness of many things, but they also pretend for forgetfulness of many. Some vices delight them as being proofs of their prosperity. It seems the part of a man who is very lowly and despicable to know what he is doing. After this, imagine that the mimes fabricate many things to make a mock of luxury. In very truth, they pass over more than they invent, and such a multitude of unbelievable vices has come forth in this age, so clever in this one direction, that by now we can charge the mimes with neglect. To think that there is anyone who is so lost in luxury that he takes another's word as to whether he is sitting down. This man, then, is not at leisure. You must apply to him a different term. He is sick. Nay, he is dead. That man is at leisure, who has also perception of his leisure. But this other who is half alive, who, in order that he may know the postures of his own body, needs someone to tell him how can he be the master of any of his time. Right, guys, we're done for today's part. We're gonna continue tomorrow as usual. So thank you for joining this video. I'm gonna say tomorrow bye.